And welcome back, folks. It is electric again here on GSA with some Celeste action. This is match 2 of Millay versus Msushi. With me in the booth is official Artemis64. How are you doing, my man?
I'm doing just fine. It's great to be here.
Yeah, now, this match 1 was pretty exciting. Looking forward to some pretty big moves from Sushi, but Millay can also certainly hold his own, as we've seen. So this should be shaping up to be a pretty exciting race, as we're working on getting a couple of things settled on the video feed.
Looks like we're just waiting on Millay here, but other than that, we should be pretty much ready to go. Looks like for language is Canadian English. It's a good language to be on.
Yep, I wonder what exact differences there are between Canadian and standard English in Celeste. Does Battleland start apologizing to you a bit more?
I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to shoot a laser at you and, almost kill you multiple times.
Oh, sorry. We may as well work together.
That's how it ends.
Basically, chapter 6 in a nutshell. Or 5. No, 6. 6. That's chapter 6.
That is chapter 6 indeed.
I think it's just like the fact that with 5B, 5B feeling almost like its own level, it kind of like is that weird offset on the numbering system in your head, you know?
Oh yeah, because you have 5A and then you go to 5B afterwards, so it messes up your counting.
Let's go ahead and pull up the status sheets for these boys. Shoutouts to Troy of Athens for compiling some pretty comprehensive stats over these last races throughout the league. Has pretty well watched every single match to keep these stats up to date, so
which is impressive.
Huge shoutouts. So right. Millay rocking an average time of a 30:25. Sushi, meanwhile, with a 29:38, so nearly a minute ahead on average. As we got both these guys synced up and jumping through prologue. I've always thought it was kind of strange how they completely lock you out of dashing throughout all of prologue.
It is, and it's an interesting design choice, but I think it means a lot, actually. Because, it's the beginning of your adventure, and since it's the entire start of a prologue, that's how you think the entire game is going to be initially. And then all of a sudden you can dash, and it's like, oh, that changes the movement a lot.
Yep. Maybe it has something to do kind of with, the magic of the mountain, if you will, because of, obviously the core having its own effects.
Yeah, that makes sense. Ooh.
Oh, and Millay already with that failed corner dash looked like to fall about a screen or so behind Msush. Not the way you want to start out with a Forsaken City, which should be one of the more consistent levels, especially in a race setting like this.
That's just a small mistake, and then it already adds up to multiple seconds. I mean, of course it can be brought up, but like you said, it's definitely not the start you want to be seeing. Oh!
As Msushi taking a huge death just right into that corner there, getting an upright instead of an up dash, and costing him pretty...
It's definitely not what you want to be seeing. It's the exact opposite. The lead is switched just like that.
Oh, can you hear me again?
Yes. Yep.
My power went out.
Okay. Wow. You should use some of your electricity.
I don't know if you can hear me. My power went out.
Yep, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
You can hear me. That is fascinating.
Alright, he's having some power issues, I guess. That's alright though. We're gonna pretend like those aren't happening right now as we watch this fascinating gameplay. Wow, just based on movement, Msushi caught up. That's actually really interesting. Their gameplay looks nearly perfectly synced too. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, like
That's
perfect timer and
all right.
dream
There we
block
go.
action sync.
Slight desync finally to prove that they are indeed different gameplays. Welcome back, by the way.
Yeah, I don't understand. I think the weather is completely clear, blue skies outside, and the lights just did some really, really weird junk. I'm not even gonna try to understand what just happened there.
Yeah, because as far as I could tell, you couldn't hear me, but I could definitely hear you.
And we've got YouTube videos auto playing now. Don't know if any of that's coming through my mic, but
No, I can't hear it.
okay. Just a real mess over here in the commentators booth that apparently has completely separate power access.
And I'm not sure if you were able to catch the first bit of this chapter. Msushi caught up with just really clean movement. Is really impressive, actually. Like an entire few seconds, but I didn't even catch where Millay could have lost it.
Yeah, and that's really like it kind of segues nicely into a really huge thing with this game that it just has such a significantly high skill ceiling. And so when you're at a level like Msushi, you can do things like that. Just make up time purely by more efficient corner boosting, chaining your momentum better. There's just all sorts of ways that you can make the game just go a little bit faster with just that raw skill.
And that's probably one of the main reasons a lot of people were really interested in this game and are still really interested in it. Like that entire fact that everything is based off of your own movement rather than luck factors. Everything's on a cycle, so if you mess up, it's your own fault.
Yeah, literally no RNG throughout the run as far as I'm aware, which is very rare for speed games.
Yep. Like even if you die in a room, it's all cycle based anyway, so. Sushi had some issues getting out of the key room, but making our way.
Yeah, it's nice to see players this close together going into resort like this. Ooh, snowballs
Ooh.
are RNG, that is true, Eternal Dog. As Millay, though, not needing any sort of snowballs to cause a death in the middle of resort.
What?
And
Wow.
a double death. What even is going on his side of the
second
screen?
death must have just been trying to skip the cutscene just too early. That's actually not good at all. Not what you want to be seeing.
Yeah, I think you're exactly right with that. Because I didn't see anything that he obviously just could have fallen on.
So I think he landed on the platform itself, too. These are just some strange mistakes.
Commentators being lied to in chat, being fed false information.
It's
Apparently not understanding what Kappa means anymore. The most basic Twitch emote.
Kappa equals gray face, no space. Alright. So
just look at Sushi soaring through the luggage section now.
I know. I was just about to bring that up. Like, I was watching.
Those deaths definitely really costly for Millay.
And they were in that longer room too. Like, not even big mistakes, and they caused deaths. Just one was a movement mistake, and one was a menuing mistake. Or I guess it was movement, but still.
Movement through a menu at the very least.
That's very true.
As we've got Sush going ahead and plunging those books back into their cases.
Only purple ones left. Oh, forgetting which entrance to go through.
Yeah, forgetting that that gray dream block is not the same as, you know, an actual real dream block that you can pass through. As he approaches kind of one of the scarier dashes to get by that dust bunny there, but making it look super, super easy and clean.
Yeah,
Saw Vlad take a kind of painful death there in yesterday's set of races.
This third section is the worst, for sure.
And I'm sure like it's also really, really bad when you're trying to go through with like a all chapters clear or something like that, where you have to actually go back to get the heart.
Yep. I mean, I guess it's not as bad as like some of the other things in this run, but out of all 3 of the bookcase rooms, that's the worst. Alright,
Yeah,
so we're
no
coming up
real
on
surprise there.
the dash here. Getting the save, and very good that he
Sushi
did.
with 1 fail.
Alright.
And it's good this time around. Nice, nice.
I don't
Second try
remember...
demo dash, nothing to be ashamed about or upset about, really.
Wow,
Millay with
not
a
even
first
going-
try, though.
Not even going for the save. Dying immediately, but not as bad.
Is still saving that time on the dash itself, at least. As Sushi gonna be rocking this Oshiro chase real quick.
Getting all the blue water coins. Ooh. Ran out of the dash, couldn't make it past that.
Yeah, you always hate to see those sort of deaths just from not being able to get your dash back where you want to.
So you expect to have him and you just dash into a wall accidentally and just waste it
Yeah.
all.
As Sushi going to be moving on into Golden Ridge now. Getting through pretty well unscathed through Resort, which is good to see.
Well, not too far behind.
Yeah, let's see. 806 exit, a 443 chapter time. Not bad at all. About 13 seconds behind Sushi's average. I didn't actually see what Sushi's chapter time was, but... Actually, oh wow, they were just about dead even leaving Resort.
Yeah, it's like 1 room away from each other, essentially.
Although Sushi certainly making Millay fight for that spacing. Pulling off some really awesome movement here in the opening of Golden Ridge.
Ooh, missing the bubble just barely. Has to climb up all the clouds again.
Yeah, that'll be some pretty significant time loss on Millay's side. As Sushi going to be moving over into this more auto-scroller section. Not able to actually get the grab on the block at the very beginning, though, but...
Millay taking
And Millay
another
with yet
death.
another death.
That small spike there. Ooh, and missing. Millay is
That's
not
such an
having good.
unfortunate death. Yeah, Millay getting off to a very, very rough start to go ahead and close out the first third of this race.
Alright, cutting that one a little close, but getting it still.
And you got to remember, Millay going into this with that 1-match deficit. If he loses this race, he's got to win these next 2 in order to have a shot at the playoff seat. So,
Oh, dang.
got to be feeling the
again.
pressure there.
I'm sure that's probably a lot of nerves, actually, because I'm sure everyone wants to get to pace, but it's just, especially if you're 1 match down, then you have to play really well for every game. It's not in a good position. Alright, Electric back with the power outage type issue. Not entirely sure what's happening.
Yeah,
He cutting out again, but it's alright.
a little bit of a Mr.
Still cutting out.
It's trying to catch back up.
Alright. Msushi finishing up The Golden Ridge. Looks like Millay is getting closer, taking the cloud. Definitely a lot farther behind than initial, but I mean, a lot can happen. We still have 5B, and I've definitely seen some big fails in 5B.
Can y'all hear me again?
Okay,
We
yes.
good? Okay. Yeah, if that happens again, I might unfortunately have to go ahead and leave you solo on this. I'm not sure, since it is probably a bit distracting having to deal with the repeated cutouts. I don't understand what's happening. Literally right before this match, I looked out the window, completely blue skies. I didn't see a drop of rain or even like really a cloud anywhere. I don't understand what's going on. This is very, very weird.
Well, just stop having it happen, Forehead.
Yeah, just get better power, Forehead. Certainly seems to be the most likely solution to the problem here.
I mean, just use your name for electricity, Forehead.
Forehead, yeah. Maybe if I would have actually put 2 C's, then I would be able to do something like that, but missed opportunity. Yes, I must be in a third world country like South Dakota or Alabama. Try Southeast Texas, but the first half of that sentence is still correct.
Third world country. Wow. Unlucky. Alright. Msushi entering 5B.
Yeah, if I can just retain power for 1 full chapter, can it please be 5B, please?
This is the chapter. The chapter to pay attention to. Because this could very well determine the race. Like, even if there's this big a lead, we can definitely see it change. I definitely have seen it change. All
But
right.
one of those things that could contribute to a change, Msushi avoiding very gracefully with that first try Bubs drop. Very, very clean.
Yeah, we gotta really hope Millay gets it here too. If not, then that's
huge, huge trouble for us. Oh, and just barely late. You can see getting the wall jump, but not able to actually dash down in time. Just eating that time loss that he really can't afford right now after just everything else that's happened to him. But he does get it second try.
Right. I don't believe so. I don't think
no,
I don't think a lot of the tricks in this game have like anything named specifically after players.
you know, like I think like Bubstrop and Demo Dash were named after players or glitch hunters, but I don't think that anyone in the tournament, like I don't know if Teach has anything named after him, but I don't think he does, and same with Vlad.
I don't think so.
Could certainly be wrong, but it seems that Celeste kind of is more about the pre-cheeky names like Auto Scroller Skip and such. And of course, the Eat Jump. Msushi starting out the Theo section here.
Dropped Theo once, but it looked like it was right away, so it could have definitely been worse.
Yeah, as long as you don't end up taking a death from dropping Theo somewhere, then you're pretty well solid through these sections. Or like as long as you're not having to just like restart your momentum after not being able to catch Theo in midair or something.
Yep.
Which that's really the worst when you get to some of the later screens and like you're having to throw Theo onto a bouncing platform in the middle of spikes.
Yeah.
And yet, Sorrow of Demons, it's really wild what speed gamers can do with this game. In particular, what you're seeing right now is the B side of Mirror Temple, which if you didn't actually... Oh, Millay taking a brutal death at the end of the Seeker hallway. But if you unlock any of the B sides, they're basically just really, really hard versions of the levels. They have like a similar aesthetic, but they'll take like the concepts in the level, in particular, like right here, you're seeing the Theo crystal throwing, and just take them to completely ridiculous levels. And it just so happens that unlocking 5B and then completing it is actually faster than just beating all of 5A. And so these guys have to deal with a B-side in the speedrun now. So
I remember when
yes,
they were...
Gottness, the other name for auto-scroller skip is bounding under the terrain.
Remember when like they first found the routing and they were like, yeah, we're probably never gonna do 5B because it's too hard.
Well, what was interesting was for a while, people never actually thought to check if 5B would count as a completion of Chapter 5. People just kind of assumed that since it was a B-side, it wasn't going to count as completing the chapter proper. So they just went ahead and never really bothered to check it out. And then at one point, someone did check and see, oh, wait a minute, if you complete B-side, it just unlocks Chapter 6. And then it became, well, it's technically faster, but 5B though. And then pretty soon people both started optimizing it even more so that it was way faster. But then also a big thing was discovering Bub's drop, as Millay failing Lake Skip twice.
That was a lot more of a choice.
Well, it was more okay. I
think it was probably like 4 or 5 times. It was a good amount.
Yeah, my bad.
6B is faster too, really?
Yeah, but it's only by a couple of seconds. 6B right now is effectively where 5B was, like at the very beginning of people realizing it was faster before Bub's drop. Because Bub's drop is really what makes 5B so much faster. But yeah, at the very start when people realized 5B would count, it was just a few seconds faster if you did it completely perfectly. And so people, of course, were like, well, I mean, it's 5B. You can't really be expected to do that. But then Bub's drop came around, saved even more time. And then just more movement optimization throughout happened.
Yep.
But yeah, right now I think 6B is like 2-3 seconds faster with perfect execution. And we have seen a couple of racers go for it just for the memes and races before. And you can kind of see why they don't normally go for it.
I'm Sushi recovering that after the I don't know what those are called.
The bumpers.
Yeah.
Yeah, they can be really finicky, so his ability to actually recover that the way he wanted to is really clean.
Alright. Almost to the boss fight here, just a couple more. Pushing back the darkness screens. Oh!
Yeah, Sushi ends up pushing a little bit too far through the darkness twice!
Again.
Millay able to make up some pretty significant time here. Let's see, as Sush is going to be moving into the actual battle and boost and then battle and fight proper.
Oh, it's so beautiful. I love that boost.
It's so fluid. And it's once you get like the spacing exactly right and then like the actual timings down, it's really consistent. I think the majority of runners are actually like within like the 85 to 90% consistency rate with that. And earlier, that's interesting. I didn't actually realize that there was a Bub's drop type strat to accomplish a similar thing, but Bub's drop just made it so much more doable. As Millay having trouble actually activating the Kevin block here.
I think the momentum storage, because I just watched it again on Millay's side, like that's probably what makes the tasks of this game so interesting. Is like,
oh yeah,
the movement's already super fluid just watching these players, but then the task just does it even better and then keeps the momentum in a lot of places. It's just,
yeah, there are so many like
beautiful
corner boosts and stuff that just you cannot really do as a human because they're just in such quick succession and so precise. But when you're able to do them with tasks, you're effectively able to just build up unbounded speed. Especially like in the, I believe it's the C sides, like 8C, there are times where a screen will go by so quickly that the Madeline is not even on screen. Like Madeline's speed is faster than the speed of the screen transition.
It's been a while since I've seen that one, but I could definitely see that happening.
And Kobotic asking what is a normal time for this category. At this level, about 30 minutes. If you're getting sub 30, then that's pretty nice. some runners like Tej and Flad can pull out some pretty consistent 28s. I was about to say 48. Forgot that this wasn't Mario for a second.
Wow. Consistent 48s, Punkay level.
Yeah. Absolute insane god tier gameplay. Could even see a race world record with the 47. But anyway. Yeah, so the average time should be somewhere right around a half hour for each of these runs. And we could see 3 races, but if any of these guys ends up taking these first 2 races, then that will be it for this match today.
The
Sushi kind of
waiting.
having to take an awkward little pause there in the battling section.
It's interesting, but playing it safe is better than not. Don't know if they're aware of the lead right now, but you could probably afford a death, but obviously you don't want to.
Oh yeah, of course.
Still got Summit to go. Summit, we have seen lead changes. Remember the last one we commentated together? I don't remember the racers, but one stream cut out and we got it back and they were 40 seconds behind after having like a 40-second lead. Oh,
yeah,
Millay
I'm having trouble remembering which one that was too, but that was just wild.
Because like the stream cut out and then I had to get it back, and then all of a sudden.
Because I think it was actually Reflection that they like were just getting into, and then like whoever's stream cut out just apparently had a completely abysmal reflection.
Mm-hmm.
I remember that now. It was so confusing because we thought that like the video was just way out of sync at first until we like really internalized like, no, that timer's right. What's going on?
Yeah, we even thought that like I accidentally switched the gameplays.
Yep. Yeah, and you know what? I'm thinking it actually may have been like one of Flad's matches or something, because I seem to remember like we figured it out based on like the language on screen or something.
We found out based off the segment timer. Like we were able to tell how long they've been in the stage, and it was like, no, that has to be right.
That's right. Yeah. Okay, I remember that now.
But like thinking of something,
such a wild race.
Yeah, keeping something like that in mind, like even though we have a pretty big lead here, it could still change just like that.
Yeah, Msushi is only about 500 meters up on the summit, which is certainly not insurmountable, especially with the risky strats that you kind of have to go for in some of these later sections. Really, really nice movement from Sushi at the moment, though. And I say that as soon as he ends up missing that battling orb, of course. So he's exiting 500 as Millay is entering and be moving his way back on up into Old Site, the Summit Edition.
Yes, with the blocks of beauty.
Yeah, them good old dream blocks to go with the battling orbs. Because that is definitely what I said, Sullen Snake. Thank you so much for pointing that out.
Battling orb.
Battling orbs. I really like that name, actually. No, Battleline. Or Battleline? I mean, is it Madeline or Madeline? I don't even know. Because I think like the most clearly pronounced word in this game is when Theo says YOLO, and so like I'm really not exactly sure with Madeline's name.
So we have Madeline on Msushi's side, and then Madeline on Millay's side because of the language difference.
Oh, okay, good point. Good point.
Okay. I'm assuming Msushi's on American English. I guess I don't know. This is important.
It could be on the Kings, the British English.
Yes, that could be true. Australian English is also a possibility.
You could also just have it set to Croatian, and we're really just paying that little attention. Who knows?
Any language could be happening right now. Alright. 1500 looking really smooth on Msushi's side, which is really good because this is probably one of the harder sections of Summit, I'd say.
Oh, definitely. I would certainly say this and the Golden Ridge section together. I mean, really, like, all the way through the Mirror Temple section, all introduce their own little difficulties in the various strats that get introduced.
Yeah, and it's
Things do like cool down a little bit when you actually get to 3,000 for a few flags, but
of course not to underplay like the difficulty of some of these.
oh yeah, no, everything in this
areas.
game is hard.
Oh yeah, but they're just trying to. Ooh, failing right
Yeah.
there.
Sushi
Like,
going
this
for a
room right
bound under
here.
the terrain.
Like, I forget that this strat exists, and it's beautiful.
Oh, just so clean. Nice execution on that second try from Sush. Able to make some pretty decent time.
I've been informed that there's only Canadian English.
Well now, very interesting design choice. Let's have the only English setting in this game be named after one of the third plus countries to have learned English as their primary language.
It's a feature
Yeah,
of this game.
yeah. Is Matt Thorson Canadian? That's probably what it is.
I'm sure that it's because of something like that, but I'd like to think of just like some person, some other country, and they're like, oh yeah, Canada, that's English. Okay. Yep, confirmation that he's Canadian. So
Yeah, people in chat confirming the Canuckistanian nationality of the creator.
Which-
Celeste is Canada's greatest cultural achievement. That's a little bit that's a little much. It's certainly up there, but ooh, Sushi not able to get that dash to get beside that moving platform.
Don't underestimate the power of the syrup. No, the death on Millay's side. That was really strange. Just couldn't get the boost out. I'm Sushi dying on something. I didn't catch why. Oh.
Oh, and dying on door skip just a little bit too high.
There we go.
And manages to get it second try very nicely. So he's about to be making his way up into the 3,000 meter mark.
Millay dying again.
Just
Alright.
cannot get a decent start to this Mirror Temple section of the summit for whatever reason.
Alright, we're on 3,000. And door skip. Ah. At least that was the first door, not the second one. Making through the second one, though. Looks like Electric may have accidentally cut the power again.
Oh no, I'm still
Oh,
here. I
nope.
didn't hear exactly what you said.
No, I was just saying that Sushi entered 3,000.
Oh.
I thought your power cut out again, so I was confused.
No, it's all good at the
Alright,
moment at least.
Never mind then.
It's not making any like weird noises when that happens, right? It's just it cuts out.
No, it just cuts out. You're still on the call, and then I can occasionally hear you.
All right.
That's all that happens.
Yeah, shoutouts to the router for starting back up as quickly as it apparently does. Not sure how exactly that's happening.
Either way, it's much appreciated.
As Sushi making his way confidently up these flags, all the way up to about the 14th flag. So going to be able to pull off probably a higher 29, looking maybe like a lower 30, but still a great race time nonetheless.
So we got a couple more flags to go. Could still see some costly deaths, but looks like we're getting close to the end, so not much more room to do so.
Yep, let's see what Millay pulls off. As Sushi making his way up to this final set of flags.
Millay taking a death. Luckily they got that checkpoint.
Yeah, that one, is that one normally part of the route?
The checkpoint, like, you still land on the platform to get your dash, but...
You don't normally go in far enough to actually get the flag,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure I was thinking of that right one. So, maybe Millay playing with a little bit of psychic ability, knowing the mistakes that he is soon to make. As Sushi is able to just barely squeak out a 29:51, so nice sub 30 time. And he's going to take race number 1 in this second match between him and Millay. So now Millay is being put in a pretty awkward position. Both these guys obviously want to make it 2-pace, but if Millay wants to punch that ticket, he's going to have to win these next 2 races and then proceed to take that next match between these two at least 2-1. And winning out is certainly no easy feat, especially in a game like this. So he's got his work cut out for him, that's for sure. But watching the end of this run, he's not super far behind Sushi. I mean, look at that. Only about a 26-second difference. So anything could certainly happen whenever we move on into this race 2. But let's see, our guys probably going to want to go ahead and take a short break or so between the 2 runs.
I was just thinking about it. Do you think that going for like preparing for a backup ruins your mindset? Like it's a subconscious thing?
I'm not totally sure. I mean, I think it can sort of go both ways. Both, like, you really kick yourself if you think of doing the backup and you don't, and you end up needing it, like in the case of failing demo dash after not grabbing the checkpoint.
Yep.
But in the case of what Millay just did, it's such like a purposeful thing to move over into that flag that maybe he was still focusing on it. Maybe, doing it, he was kind of thinking, well, at least I've got this safe point, and then death happens and he goes, well, at least I had it. So, I'm really not sure. I definitely could see it going both ways.
So I was just thinking, like, if you think of it as, like, say, like, Mario, you go get, like, some backup coins or something, but you do that intentionally just in case of something, like a backup red in TTC or something along those lines, and then you end up needing it. Like, it just kind of sets yourself up for failure, I guess. Like, that's not completely true, but I mean, like, your mindset, like, you're expecting yourself to fail.
Yeah, I think that kind of delves into, like, how exactly mindset alters those, like, spur-of-the-moment reactions, because if you don't have that safety, then, of course, as soon as you see anything going remotely wrong with coins, your brain is immediately just like, I need to fix this as soon as possible right now.
Mm-hmm.
And so, maybe having that backup just kind of suppresses that reaction from your brain. I'm not exactly sure.
I mean,
would
that's
probably
true.
need to go to a significant school to appropriately answer. But it's an interesting question nonetheless. As we're going to go ahead and give these guys their new file names. Not sure. It looks like Sushi's just trying to reuse the previous file name.
That is correct. Trying to replay the same video. It's not working.
Yeah, it seems to have realized that mistake. Going to go ahead and reset that. Sneaky.
Happy with their 29 time, just trying to replay it for us. We're not having it.
Not today.
Alright. Do the countdown. right.
And we should see them off any second now. Madeline gonna blink a little bit more on the file select screen.
There we go.
Solemn Snake just really going in on my
Madeline.
apparent accent. Is it really that bad?
I'm not noticing it actually.
Yeah, I'm sure I said Madeline. I didn't say Matlin. Matlin gonna go fast in this here mountain game. Gotta watch out for skaters up the mountain. It's a little bit cold up there, but they can still appear sometimes, especially in the city like this. Like I'm not talking that bad. And so both of them with
You don't
a good
have to be
start in these
sorry.
first.
Supposedly, since I am from Minnesota, we have a Canadian accent, which I do not think I have.
I'm not noticing it. I know what people are like kind of making a reference to, especially like with that like just like Montana and generally like what would that be called? Like not exactly like a northern accent. For some reason I'm wanting to call it Midwestern, but I know that's not at all correct.
Because
I
feel
don't
like
even know.
Midwestern accent is completely neutral. For the most
I feel
part,
like
I
it
guess.
has like a bit of like a southern tinge to it, but like it's not as severe as like what you would expect if you were caught in a swamp with a bunch of rednecks.
Yeah.
It's like
Oh.
redneck light. As Sushi ends up taking a pretty deep fall instead of getting on top of that ledge. That's going to put him at a few seconds of a deficit moving on into the old site here.
It's pretty clean overall, but just that one fall.
Yeah. There's a bit of a draw in like the Midwestern accent.
But I'm not sure what was going on there on Msushi's screen. We're back though. Ooh.
Oh, that weird. He's not quite getting the dash there, and I don't even know if like he was trying to back that up somehow or what exactly was going on there.
Resync the timers real quick.
Show off a lot better where exactly these two are. As you can see, Millay
Almost.
with a mild lead,
There we go.
but Sushi trying to do as much as he can to catch up.
It's pretty close now.
Yeah, nice dream block dashing from both these guys so far. Let's see how they handle the more advanced bits of this battle and chase. This battle and chase.
Alright, now here y'all see we got battling Chase and Madeline. I can't do it. I get
I was
up.
gonna say like is that like Southern Australian? Like what was that?
I can't think of it right now. I can't do it. I'm not even gonna try. I was thinking about
With how many times you've heard Punk K gripe about skeeters, you can't picture that voice in your head. Wow.
Out of anything, Canadian's more clear to me, but I don't think I can do that right now anyway.
That's fair. That's fair. Well, Msushi managing to catch up with those deaths from Millay at the start of Old Site. Or wait, sorry, I think I actually missaw. The fact that this chapter basically, like, the ending effectively happens twice, it's a little bit hard for me sometimes. So Sushi going to come out with about a 6-second deficit or so, 5.
Definitely not that bad. The runs are going great. These have been pretty close races, so.
Yeah, really, really good efforts from Sushi at the moment.
Oh, taking a little bit there. Not sure why. Have to resync the timers here again. There we go.
All right.
It's looking pretty
super
good.
clean movement from Sushi.
Alright, Millay not accidentally... Oh, that was it accidentally, but... Now pretty much tied. Just because of that one
Look
dash.
at that synchronization now. Wow. Gotta love when races start looking like this.
Did you
You
see
can start seeing
how...
those direct parallels.
Did you see how close the sync was last race at, like, during the midsection of Chapter 2? Because
I wasn't able to catch it. Yeah, that was like midway through the technical issues.
But it was near perfect to like the point where I thought I had accidentally cut one of the streams and it like duplicated. It was really, really close. And it was identical movement for like a good 20 seconds.
And what's really cool though about these sections is like being able to see those small lead gains and drops just from like little movement differences. Like there were a couple screens back that Sushi gained and then lost the lead within just a couple of seconds just due to like sheer movement.
Mm-hmm.
And wow, Millay was
like
some
right
awesome movement through those rooms. Yeah, Sushi with a bit of a struggle trying to dash his way up in this tunnel. Hello, Senor Kittens, all over again. How are you doing this fine afternoon? As both of them moving on into the bookcase section of the huge mess.
It's looking pretty clean on both sides here. You can see a slight difference in strat right there.
Is there an assist or cheat mode leaderboard? I am not sure. I would think that there's something like that, especially if Celeste has category extensions, but...
I think maybe assist, but I don't know about cheat, I guess. I'm not too into Celeste outside of GSA. Like, I like watching it, but I'm not super involved.
Yeah, Artemis, shoutouts for taking the empty COCOM spot for this race. Wanted to make sure that we had some nice... just filled with commentary air for the day.
Yeah.
Both these guys near synced coming out of resort though. Wow. Just crazy.
Oh, missing.
And thank you so much, Senor.
Missing a key, I guess. That's what it'd be called. Missing that first one. Ooh, dying in this room too.
Wait, were you talking about the like green crystals or like the actual key?
The actual key.
Oh, okay.
And
Sushi setting up the checkpoint. Right, first try demo dash. Nice.
Let's see if Millay goes for it. Oh.
Oh, with checkpointless too. He went for the risk, but it did not pay off at all.
Going for it again. All right, getting it second try.
Man, that's why you go take the checkpoint. It's like half a second, maybe like 2 total loss. But if you end up actually failing with the checkpointless setup, then you're going to have a bad time. Senior Kittens, a restreamer is the person that takes the racers' individual streams. So right now the racers are either streaming on their main account or on an alternate account. And the restreamer takes those 2 raw streams and arranges it into the pretty little presentation you see right now.
Yep, so
and they're also the ones that facilitate commentators.
Yep, in this case, I am your restreamer right now, so I have both streams running. I also have the call going to have Electric here on commentary. And we have both of those fed right to you through the wonderful website known as Twitch.
Yep. Shoutouts to twitch.tv, the site that will take over the world one day.
I think there's a couple other sites that will do that first, but I like the idea.
You never know. Some people in chat saying that whoever restreamed the other race before sucked. I wonder who that was.
It's not me all the time, so I cannot confirm nor deny if it was me or not.
And Sushi gonna take a bit of an extended break apparently for whatever reason. In fact, that's a screen frozen, I think, right?
The game audio is still going, so they're not clicked into the game for some reason.
Oh, interesting.
So I'm going to pause right here, which is not optimal, of course, but for whatever reason they needed to take the break, so I'm not gonna ask any questions. If anything happens, and we can always just check the video, of course.
Yep, and let's see how much progress Sushi can make over Millay before the timers are actually caught up.
All right,
so already surpassing him with about 9 seconds to spare. We'll make it through 1, 2, and
there we go.
A half rooms or so before actually Millay able to start back up. Okay, nice performance so far from Sushi in this ridge.
Alright, so we got this one. We saw Millay fail it last race. Alright, there we go. Really clean. Ooh, Millay falling. No.
That is so rough. Oh, man. Such bad deaths on Millay's side.
No, that happened last race too. I'm getting it that time, but...
Oh god, no, no. If anyone was around for that last night, then no. And no one's game is in Portuguese at the moment, so there's nothing for me to even read off of.
The only foreign language we have right now is Canadian English.
Yep. Yep, there we go. I know, Solemn, I do not speak multiple languages. I am unfortunately monolingual. What Senior is making reference to is my very, very poor attempts at pronouncing Portuguese during Vlad's last race. And yeah, Millay is having to play some pretty insane catch-up. It's a wonder he's even doing as well as he is right now.
Failed miserably.
It was bad. Like, I was trying to say whatever text comes up, like, when you actually get the B-side tape in Mirror Temple. But, like, I didn't get a chance to actually say out the full last word before it disappeared from the screen, so I just had to guess at the second half of it.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. that kind of sets the stage for just how bad the pronunciation was.
Alright, and Msushi finishing it up. Looking pretty good.
Yeah, 10:46, really nice solid time on Ridge as he's going to be moving into Reflection now. Or Mirror Temple. I mean, mirrors do have reflections, so I guess that kind of counts.
Alright, here's your meta question of the stream. Is the mirror the real you, and are you the reflection?
Monka Giga. Sushi with some really, really clean progress through this 5A, though. Let's see how his yeet goes. Nice little trick coming up here.
I believe Millay had some issues with that last race.
Yeah, Sushi kind of with like the half yeet. A lot closer to the yeeton, but it deserves a little bit more recognition than most yeetons.
Yeah, because Millay's last race didn't go anywhere. And just completely gave up on it, which is completely fair.
Yep. If it's just not happening, I mean, it's more of a time waste to try to force it to happen at that point.
All right, not the worst. All right,
Yeah, that was certainly
B-side.
A5A.
Just like last race, this could be the difference of the lead right here. Last race went really well for Sushi, but all could change. What happens one race does not mean it's going to happen in the next one.
Yup, exactly right. Especially as Sushi drops in for a Bubs drop. This is certainly a very, very...
Wow.
Just amazing consistency with that trick. What a very finicky trick, too.
Ooh. Hitting the spike thing. I don't know what that is. It's a weird shape.
Yeah, they kind of remind me of... I don't remember what they're called, but there's a similar enemy present in Zelda, too.
Oh, I kind of know what you're talking about. But I, again, have no idea what to call that. It looks like Millay failed Bub's drop.
Yep. That seems to be the case. Let's see if we can get it this second try here.
Please. No!
Ooh.
Ah.
Such substantial time loss.
Definitely not good. The lead wasn't as bad as the other race, and now it's probably very similar.
Let's see how Sushi can pull out these secret rooms, though. These cause a lot of trouble for a lot of runners. And if you want to hear about the Mario lore, you gotta watch Mario Comms. It wouldn't make sense for me to explain these things in the middle of Celeste. And I mean, there's certainly a lot of interesting stuff to kind of discuss here. Namely, what exactly is it that makes Madeline's dash completely change her hair color and like put that big light trail behind her?
It's obviously the power of the mountain.
Well, see, here's what I wonder about. You're not able to dash in Prologue at all until you have that like near-death experience. And it's kind of commonly known that when you have a near-death experience, your whole life flashes before your eyes. So does that mean that like this entire game is just what Madeline is seeing as she's falling to her death right at the beginning of Prologue?
Huh. I didn't think of it like that.
It could certainly be, she imagines that she gets this like dashing capability, and then the rest of the game is played with that.
That makes the game more depressing, because like you climb the summit and then the game ends because you've died.
There is no summit.
That's not the turn I wanted this to take.
I apologize for the mood dampening here.
But I guess I was gonna say, like, it's less interesting, I guess, in this case, because you could kind of write off everything as, oh yeah, it's just the mountain.
Yep, yeah, because the mountain is like this, like, it's really painted up to be this, like, I don't even, like almost a deity in its own right. Like, it, like, has its own, like, will in a way and such. Like, it's a really interesting omnipotent presence that they've kind of crafted with it.
And like it's really cool, don't get me wrong, it's just like everything is written off. That's like the issue with magic, I feel like, in general in stories, because it's like, how can this happen? Oh yeah, just magic. Yep. Why? Magic. It's fine.
But how come the force is a thing? Oh, midichlorians. And
Yeah.
Dumbest writing choice ever. Pro tip to anyone: if you ever write a critically and beloved acclaimed science fiction series and someone ever asks you to explain the main supernatural element, like George Lucas talking about midichlorians is like Millay just dashing right into that spikes. It's the dumbest move you could have made.
Have like some basis to it. Like magic, sure, it's an explanation, but explain why the magic is existing. Give us more backstory to it.
Yeah, and especially don't make that backstory just like more very vague backstory. Don't replace one bad backstory with another that's bad for the same reasons.
Which makes
welcome to storyboarding with GSA.
That's why, like, when I always think of really good stories, I think it's a lot more interesting to go with technology instead of magic. You can go more of a futuristic sense with that.
Yeah. You shouldn't compare Millay to a terror. I very deeply apologize to Millay. I very deeply apologize. I don't even think I'm bad enough at this game to warrant being compared to the Star Wars prequels, especially Episode 1. I mean, come on now.
I don't think that's what you were intending to do anyway, but of course.
Yeah, no, I was just trying to make some sort of connection with what was happening on screen. Millay with that just really interesting downright dash, just having all sort of misdirected dashes.
Yeah, we've seen a couple mistakes. Like, I believe they both failed the... I think it's called leg skip, where you just jump out of the lake and do the spikes.
Yeah, at the very, very beginning of this level.
Yep, I believe they both failed that, and I've seen a couple other deaths that were just a little strange. But what are we supposed to tear apart with the storyline? The storyline's actually pretty solid in this game.
Yeah, I mean, are you expecting us to, like, just start claiming that Battleline is actually the old woman the whole time or something?
That doesn't even make sense. Like, the story is really solid. Like, it's just the other part of you, and that's what the mountain brings out. Like,
and it's like the whole point of the story is, like, not necessarily learning to overcome all of the negative obstacles in your way, but learning to cope with them and use them to your advantage.
Mm-hmm. Like, the only thing to tear apart is the mountain itself.
Millay taking a pretty unfortunate death during that dev-intended shortcut leading into Battleline, as Sushi making some really nice progress.
Yeah, it seems like a pretty solid fight so far.
And yeah, Diamond, that's certainly true. I was playing, whenever I played casually, I played on Switch, and I definitely noticed that. But these guys are both playing on PC, and I believe both of them also on keyboard. I know Sushi plays on keyboard. But the PC version has a number of advantages over the other versions for speedrunning, also for practice. And so just about, I think everyone in like the top 20, maybe even more, uses PC.
Yeah, when I played it casually, it was on PC. I don't remember if I used a controller or my keyboard, but I can definitely see keyboard actually being like superior to a controller. Of course, at that point, it's kind of preference, though. Because the main thing you really need are the angles, and you can do that with like a D-pad.
Yeah, I mean, as we see with like TGH, just completely dominating over other people with a DualShock 4, essentially.
Yeah, I mean, and it makes perfect sense. You have the D-pad for general movements, and then you have the control stick for the feather. No, I'm not saying controller's bad. I meant that it's equally balanced. You could use either and be just fine.
Yeah, but both pretty well have their advantages. Like, one thing with controllers, you have that free access to a control stick for golden feather sections.
Mm-hmm. Alright, and that's it. I don't even think there was a single death for Sushi there.
Yeah, Sushi just really, really solid throughout the reflection section. So putting himself in really nice position to go ahead and start out Summit now. Very, very nice and clean. Yeah, no, Joy-Cons are trash controllers, just period.
Would you say a Wiimote is a bad controller? Because
I mean, it depends on exactly what you're using it for.
Because I'd say that's the closest thing to a Joy-Con, and I guess I wouldn't say the Wiimotes aren't that bad.
Like, the big issue with the Joy-Con is the sticks, I feel like, and also like just holding them. when my Pro Controller first died, I started trying to run Odyssey with Joy-Cons, and I had so much trouble just holding them. It was... Yes, thank you, Blueberry. I don't know why more people don't talk about that. So many people make excuses for the Pro-Con D-pad. That controller is $70. The D-pad has no right to be that bad. It is terrible. Terrible. If you don't agree that it's terrible, go to any Tetris 99 streamer, and they will tell you it is the biggest obstacle to their ability to play that game. It is so ridiculous. I would get so mad when I was playing Breath of the Wild and I would try to switch swords really quickly and it would take me to the bows menu, or like switch shields, it would take me to swords. It just, the D-pad does not know how to detect a proper direction. It does not make sense how it is so bad.
I have not used the D-pad on the Pro Controller that much. The most I've used the Pro Controller was like when I tried running Odyssey on it briefly and I could not do it.
Yeah, they really would have been so much better off just putting the discrete buttons on it like they did with the Joy-Con D-pad, I feel like. Which is really sad when the Joy-Con D-pad is better than the Pro-Con. That just makes no sense to me. Nintendo does not know how to make a D-pad. I don't get it. Like, Sony has given them the perfect layout with a DualShock 4. I think the closest is like the SNES D-pad, but even that one is pretty easy to misdirect on.
I don't think they've made a single good D-pad now that I'm looking at the controllers, because I have a whole bunch right here.
Yeah, no, I mean, definitely DualShock 4 is superior to any Nintendo D-pad, easily. Easily.
I think, now that I'm, like, comparing some, the Wiimote D-pad is pretty good, but you don't really ever use it.
Yeah, and it's kind of in a scuffed position to be able to use it well. Like, I mean,
but like if you hold it sideways, it's not the worst.
Yeah.
But again, you don't really use that.
But it's weird because they've managed to get worse over the years. Like the D-pad, and for the record, D-pad is like the little plus-shaped directional pad on controllers. I have a third-party controller for the Switch that uses it's based on the Super Nintendo controller, just with sticks added to the bottom. And as part of that, it has a SNES-style D-pad, and it's better than the Pro-Con D-pad. Like, it's still kind of crappy, but like Nintendo has somehow actively gotten worse at making D-pads. I don't get it. I do not get it.
That's like, yeah, because I'm holding the DualShock right now, and it's beautiful.
Yeah, you cannot misdirect the DualShock. It's not going to happen unless you're just really, really scuffed with how you're holding them.
The only thing I have about it when I'm looking at it now is having... That was a death I saw there. But having individual buttons rather than having it still being all one big pad. Kind of like the Joy-Con, but still in the same shape, I mean.
Yeah, that would be really nice if they... Or like just really... Make a D-pad where if you're not actively pressing the diagonal, you're not going to get a diagonal.
Yep. Because
like, I don't quite understand why that's so hard.
The closest Nintendo's ever been was the C buttons on the Nintendo 64 controller.
Perfect. Yes. That's actually... I never would have called it that way, but yeah, you're exactly right. Not gonna lie. Like, they don't have that mechanical clicky feeling that some people are gonna be all about, but like, you're not gonna misdirect because they're all separate buttons, and they feel really fluid. I mean, especially like if you spend any time with Mario 64, you know how good the C buttons are.
I just wish they were more directly useful, I guess. In Mario, I guess, but that's just game mechanics and not the controller itself, so.
Yeah. Well, Disco Inferno, I'm very glad that you have a good experience with those. That's just not the case for everyone.
Alright, so we are indeed watching a race now.
Yeah, we are at 2,500 meters with Sushi taking a very, very strange death instead of getting into that bubble.
Yep,
you believe what I am missing is a key component called skill. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, just get good, forehead. Obviously, that's what you're missing.
Yeah. Just don't misdirect, forehead.
Just press the buttons, forehead.
Just constantly stare at your D-pad, making sure you're hitting exact directions. As if you're trying to do, like, ESS position stuff, but on a D-pad. So let's see, Sushi diving into some of the more intense rooms at 2500.
Ooh.
Just get optimal brain RNG. Oh my god.
Optimal. Ooh, another death. That one was smaller than the other one, but... What?
Yeah.
Corner
Ooh, and getting that
boosting.
door skip and then just failing right there.
That was a corner boost, I'm fairly sure, and that's why. He just wasn't prepared for the momentum. Wow, getting the door buttons, that's sad. But
Casual strats. Not even trying to skip the doors there.
effectively a lost race. I might as well give the point over to Millay at this point.
Also, shoutouts to Ouija popping in the chat and giving his opinion that he would have gotten more into Celeste if it weren't for the DualShock 4 being the only decent controller. Does anyone run Celeste on a flight stick or a fight stick? I don't even know how to address that. Yeah, DualShock is like maybe 60 nowadays. It's not that
Really?
much.
That's still more than I would have thought. Let me look it up, actually.
Yeah, I mean, it might be cheaper since it is like a older quote-unquote controller, but like, I think that's nowadays, unfortunately.
You totally were, like, glitching out there.
No power, so but
I still can't hear you.
hello?
Okay, like, I could hear you, like, attempting to talk, but it was just, like, a robot mess.
How about now?
It's okay.
Because you're coming through totally fine. That's what's weird.
Okay, now you're fine.
Okay, weird.
Alright. Yeah, they're around 50 or 60, so... Still more than I thought, but... so I've missed most of this summit, it looks like. theoretically it should be live. It is live. All right, we are live indeed. It is confirmed. I apologize about that, everybody. Internet cut out for like 30 seconds, and then just, yeah, I don't know, but restarted my computer. Everything's fine now. Don't have any
totally back.
Don't have any game feeds because that also is gone, but.
Yep, and we will have Msushi joining us for a quick post-race interview. In case you didn't see in the chat, getting a nice 29.25, I believe. Let me make sure of that time. Yeah, 29.25 to cap off that last race. And we've now got the man himself in the call. Msushi, how are you feeling after those two pretty nice races?
Hey, I'm okay, I guess. I don't know. I mean, not my best 2 runs, but I mean, it's not catastrophic, so it's kind of average, I guess is the word to use here.
Yeah, and I mean, capping off that nice 29. And I mean, actually, according to the stat sheet, it looks like that last run did actually come in below your average. Looks like your league average has been like a 29.38. So congrats on that. And I mean, the bigger picture, congrats on securing that playoff spot at pace.
Hey, thanks.
Now that you're kind of looking towards the playoffs, first off, like, who are you kind of, thinking, man, I really hope I don't have to face this guy first, and how are you going to be prepping for those matches over the next coming weeks?
Well, I wouldn't say there's anyone I don't want to face. I want to take on everyone because anyone who's going to be there. Of course, you don't know the guaranteed lineup, but I'm really excited to take on anyone because just the way the cookie crumbles. Especially, I mean, Celeste is probably like in terms of like the other games going there, Odyssey and 64, like those games I know you can have very catastrophic deaths. But when we're talking about like the level of Celeste that we're going to be seeing at pace, like one Bubs drop, one demo dash fail can change the race. So in terms of that, like really every race can be exciting. So I'm really looking forward to running everyone in the sense,
Oh yeah, for sure, and definitely nice to see someone just looking for that nice challenge rather than like psyching themselves out of just like any big opponents coming up. What do you think your practice regimen is going to look like? Are you going to be hitting the grindstone hard, or are you going to try to take things a bit easy to not burn out?
I'm definitely going to play more. It's been a while since I've done dedicated PB attempts, so I'm definitely going to be trying that out for the next couple of weeks leading up to it. But overall, like, I'm just going to put in some more times into the levels I'm struggling on. I know today Reflection and Summit were big hump points for me. I was on like mid 38 best possible time going to Reflection in both those series, and I just completely hit a hump and kind of just that number kept going up. But hopefully we're able to get the averages for those down, lower the average for the total, get some better runs out,
Yeah, definitely. Now I'm not entirely sure if you've been like on the train like the other guys. Have you been kind of hitting the no resets hard? Because I know that's benefited some other runners a lot.
Not really, actually. In terms of my practice, because actually the past couple weeks I've been struggling to fit in full run sessions, I've really just been sticking to individual levels, just whenever I can. So, but probably going forward, once I feel comfortable with my PB, of course you want to replicate that close to your personal best time in that live event scenario. So that's definitely going to be the course of action once I feel confident in my current best time. But while my current best time, my PB, I feel like is improvable, I'm going to try to work towards improving that.
Awesome. Definitely a really nice, admirable goal for sure. And, definitely kind of curious, what are your plans for like after pace? Since you've been hitting any percent so hard, are you going to be sticking around with any percent afterward, or are you planning on moving to a different category, or maybe even trying your hand at a new game?
Oh god. So first of all, I feel like every other Celeste runner on the planet who's ran the other categories, I really want to do Hundo when Chapter 9 comes out. Which who knows at this point, but could be like the next year, could be tomorrow.
Yeah.
And then I want to improve my All Red Berries time because I think that category is really cool. But I also have a completely different speedrun for SGDQ, so I'm gonna be looking at playing some Half-Life. So
Ooh, like original Half-Life?
Yeah, 1998.
Oh man, I remember seeing Alex Howe's runs for the first time, and it's just such a cool run. I love the game casually. It holds up so well still, I think, even though it looks a bit dated, but the speedrun is just so cool with all the bunny hopping tech and stuff.
Yeah, funny you mentioned that because me and Alex Howe are buddies and we're actually racing that at SGDQ, so I need to, after Pace is done, I'm going to be prepping a lot. That's going to be my main game, so.
I actually didn't know you ran that game. That's really, really cool.
Yeah.
We all learn things in these interviews, see, folks?
There you go.
And, certainly off topic, but I definitely have to ask, is there like a huge preference for original Half-Life, or are you also a fan of like the opposing source and Blue Shift runs too?
Oh, I mean, in terms of like the original like Half-Life 1, like I know there's like Opposing Force, Blue Shift. I haven't tried Blue Shift. I've played Opposing Force. Half-Life 1's definitely the better one, but
Yeah. And I mean, Half-Life 1 certainly has more content. And I think like there's a bit more tech involved because of all the weapons you have access to and such. Because I'm pretty sure in Opposing Forces you don't actually get like the Gauss gun, or at least like there's some stuff I know you don't end up getting access to just because it's a radically different story.
I mean, yeah, I'd love to talk more about this, but the main difference is Opposing Force has the machine gun, which you can use to recoil boost, and the Half-Life 1, the original, has the Gauss rifle.
Oh, okay.
It's pretty cool.
I'll definitely have to check out those streams when you start hitting that practice hard for sure. Well, certainly sounds like a great plan. And I mean, again, just GGs on these matches. Definitely wanted to kind of ask what was kind of going through your head on that last race with those door skip issues. Ended up having to take those buttons.
Oh, I was just annoyed because the first death was like a corner boost, unintentional corner boost, and that's like annoying. The second death, I was just too low, and I was just like, I'm just not about it. Like, already that summit was kind of subpar for me, so I was just like, let's just close it out. We'll get to the top of the mountain. Take it easy.
Yeah, we'll go ahead and save the door skips for the pace itself.
Yeah.
Well, certainly huge GGs, and I mean, really, really awesome gameplay. Unfortunately, some like little technical issues back in the booth, but we were at the very least able to stream. I think like 95% of it. Just that very, very ending, unfortunately, got cut by that internet issue. But once again, congrats on punching that ticket. Real quick, we do still have that Psyched versus Chai Kitty coming up in a couple of days. Who are you kind of thinking will pull that one out? And like, what are your thoughts on that match? What do you think each of them would need to do to best the other?
Ooh, I feel like I definitely have to give the advantage to Chai because not only does he have that better PV, but he's just so much more well practiced. I know, like, even I'm scared of I'm gonna have to compete with him. Not even hypothetically in a pace situation, but just on the leaderboard in general. He's very much kicking it into full gear in the 90%. I know Psyched has been taking a bit more lax lately for the 90%, so I'm definitely gonna give it to Chai, but I wouldn't put it past Psyched to get. I know he can get a 28 in a race, like he's done it before. Or I don't think he's gotten in a race before, but he's gotten low 29s. So I know it's definitely possible. And like, just one bad chapter for Chai. If Psyched on his game can really do it for him. But overall, I do have to give it to Chai.
Yeah, that seems to be the consensus of a lot of top players. Is like I remember Tej in his last post-race interview was talking about like at the very beginning of the league, he was telling people to watch out for Chai, and just very drastic improvement throughout the league. It's really been awesome to see. Certainly kind of the underdog going into these semifinals and potentially even grand finals. So that should be really, really exciting to see. So anyway, with that, I can't really think of anything else. Artemis, did you have any more questions for Sushi before we end up letting him go?
Not really. It just seemed like very good gameplay overall, especially the sub 30s. Those are all still really impressive to me still. I always like seeing those. Although I do have to say that it's impossible. It's a lie.
Oh, can't believe it's 2019 and people are still on that.
Nah, but it is still impressive and it's great gameplay, and it'll be great to see you at pace.
Yeah. Looking forward both to meeting you in person and just seeing that stellar gameplay live.
Yeah, it should be very exciting.
Well, alrighty then. GG's one last time, and thank you so much for those stellar races. Like we were saying in chat, don't go anywhere because we've got in about 30 minutes Vyro versus Ouija, the first match to kick off the last set of playoff matches to decide who's going to get that 4th spot in the 70-star semifinals at pace. Both these guys, really, really stellar players, and that should be a really, really exciting close match. Like I said, that will be in about 30 minutes. If you can't stick around for that and you're just hungry for Celeste action, the next Celeste match will be the second matchup between Psyched and Chai Kitty at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard on Thursday. So definitely come through and check that one out. That will also be the second match of the last playoff set to determine who will get that 4th Celeste spot at Pace. And for tomorrow, we'll be starting off at 3 p.m. EST with some Super Mario Odyssey action. Stravos versus Suisaiga, match 2 of that one. Should be just all of these matches are going to be super exciting, and come through for any and all of them that you can. If you're not able to stick around for that 70-star match in about half an hour, don't fret. We were so glad to have you for the time that we did, and we hope you come around some other day. One last time, I am Electric. Artemis, it's been a pleasure co-comming with you.
Oh, it was fantastic, Grace. Thank you for having me here.
And we'll see all of you around. Peace out, Girl Scouts.
See ya.